A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Therefore, desiring to marry a girl of like disposition who may prove to be a veritable cow of plenty in my married life, to satisfy my lustful desire, I too have sought the shelter of your lotus feet, which are the source of everything, for you are like a desired tree. Purport. In spite of his condemning persons who approach the Lord for material advantages, Kardama Muni expressed his material inability and desire, therefore, before the Lord by saying, although I know that nothing material should be asked from you, I nevertheless desire to marry a girl of like disposition. The phrase like disposition is very significant. Formerly, boys and girls of similar dispositions were married. The similar natures of the boy and girl were united in order to make them happy. Not more than 25 years ago, and perhaps it is still current, parents in India used to consult the horoscope of the boy and girl to see whether there would be factual union in their psychological conditions. These considerations are very important. Nowadays, marriage takes place without such consultation, and therefore, soon after the marriage, there is divorce and separation. Formerly, husband and wife used to live together peacefully throughout their whole lives, but nowadays, it is a very difficult task. Kardama Muni wanted to have a wife of like disposition because a wife is necessary to assist in spiritual and material advancement. It is said that a wife yields the fulfillment of all desires in religion, economic development, and sense gratification. If one has a nice wife, he is to be considered a most fortunate man. In astrology, a man is considered fortunate who has great wealth, very good sons, or a very good wife. Of these three, one who has a very good wife is considered the most fortunate. Before marrying, one should select a wife of like disposition and not be enamored by so-called beauty or other attractive features for sense gratification. In the Bhagavatam 12th canto, it is said that in the Kali Yuga, marriage will be based on the consideration of sex life. As soon as there is deficiency in sex life, the question of divorce will arise. Kardama Muni could have asked his benediction from Uma, for it is recommended in the scriptures that if anyone wants a good wife, he should worship Uma. But he preferred to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead because it is recommended in the Bhagavatam that everyone, whether he is full of desires, has no desire, or desires liberation, should worship the Supreme Lord. Of these three classes of men, one tries to be happy by fulfillment of material desires. Another wants to be happy by becoming one with the Supreme, and another, the perfect man, is a devotee. He does not want anything in return from the personality of Godhead. He only wants to render transcendental loving service. In any case, everyone should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for he will fulfill everyone's desire. The advantage of worshipping the Supreme Person is that even if one has desires for material enjoyment, if he worships Krishna, he will gradually become a pure devotee and have no more material hankering. Om Gyanti Vidannasya Jnanana Shalakya Chakshulitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Garamayam Dadati Swavidantikam Vanchakapatarubhischa Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patitanam Pavnibhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Yata 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 yasmin duskurum sukurum bhavet Vishvate vipriyati shat Shri Chaitanya nananamitam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare So whatever our situation, whatever our motive, whatever our desire, we should always approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Kardama Muni is feeling very petty because he's approaching the Lord for material benediction, which he condemned in previous verses. But he's not in the category of being under these petty desires. He was ordered by Lord Brahma to perform austerity because he's a Prajapati. His service was to produce progeny. So in order to do that, he did austerity by the Saraswati river for 10,000 years. It's a long time. So he's a pure soul. The nature of a pure soul is to always pray to the Lord, even though they have the qualification for the service. Just like Lord Brahma, he was qualified to create the universe, but before that happened, he prayed, "May I not be covered by pride." Same with Shukadev Goswami. All the sages, even Vyasadeva, Narada Muni, they accepted him as the speaker of the Bhagavatam. He also prayed to the Lord for blessings, to speak the Bhagavatam. So this is the nature of the sincerity of the pure devotee. So what if he sees himself as fallen? He's saying, "Oh, I have lusty desire, I have a material desire." But he's going towards the Lord. How can we call him lusty? The Supreme Lord is his own son even. He agreed. And he even had direct darshan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna Gava Vishnu. Oh no, that's Dhruva. But he rode on Garuda and gave him his own darshan. So Kardama Muni, he prayed for a girl of like disposition. So that is the way of a happy marriage. There's 3 considerations. One's Varna, so there's a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Sudra. If they're of different Varnas or the woman is of a higher caste, then it's considered not compatible. There are exceptions we see in the Bhagavatam, like Yayati and Damayanti. Damayanti was the daughter of Sukracharya, who was a Brahmana, and Yayati was a Kshatriya. But there was some backstory also. A curse was taking place. And another consideration is not just Varna, but also horoscope, the astrological charts of both the boy and the girl. And according to that, they could see whether the two could be compatible. And the third consideration is character and taste. So they all kind of intertwine. Character and taste. So if these marriages were organized by the parents in Vedic times, and if there was incompatible, then no marriage would take place, because they understood if they were to come together, there'll be no peace or prosperity. And it'd be obviously the main purpose of doing any yajna is to please the Supreme Lord. Let's forget the first. Jujupumso Vanashram Vibhagasa Atash Vibhagasa Sanastasya Dhammasya Samsari Haritoshana. So the purpose of Varna and Ashram, all these duties connected to it, is for satisfying the Supreme Lord Hari. So marriage is not for sense enjoyment. His Holiness Kardama Maharaj said that marriage does not work. Marriage is hard work. Is that true, bro?
Yes.
Is it true? Okay. Ask the married man.
And speaking of this, it's interesting that Kardama Muni performed 10,000 years of tapasya before he married. So the sages performed tapasya before they were married, but now they perform tapasya after they were married.
Yes, they performed tapasya afterwards. Yes, this tapasya was not a light thing, because the purpose was to elevate one's consciousness so one could have good progeny. That was the Prabhupada would say many times that marriage, when one shouldn't see one's wife as a machine for sex. And the husband and wife should help each other in Krishna consciousness. And we can see that even in the Bhagavatam, Vasudev in Kurukshetra, after meeting, after that eclipse, he was performing sacrifice. And in order to complete the sacrifice, one needed the wife to complete it. There was like some part of the sacrifice to be completed. The wife had to be involved. That's why she's known as Dharma Patni, the one that helps in the husband's religious duties. And yes, marriage is for raising children in Krishna consciousness. So I have a little quote by Srila Prabhupada. He speaks at the wedding of Paramananda and Satyabhama. So this is what he says. So I am a sannyasi. I've renounced my family life. I've got my children, my grandchildren. I have my wife still living, but I have separated from them. This is called sannyas. Why am I taking interest again, this family life of my students? Because I want to see them properly progress towards spiritual life. Therefore, although it is not the business of a sannyasi to take part in marriage ceremony, in this country, just to save my students, both boys and girls, from sinful activities, I am personally taking interest that they may become good gentlemen and lady by marriage. So I am very happy that those boys and girls who have agreed, and now they are married and getting children, and they are feeling very happy. Many of them are present in this meeting. From their face, from their activities, it appears that they are very happy. So in this Krishna consciousness society, we have got this program that if some boy or girl wants to get married, I help. So this marriage ceremony is today arranged on that principle. But the present bride and bridegroom must know it certainly that this marriage is not for sense gratification. This marriage is for purification of life. So there is no question of divorce. There is no question of separation. So don't get into married life if you have got such propensity. Our first principle is to become Krishna conscious, and other things secondary. Pujate kriyate bharya. If you can produce nice children, Krishna conscious children, you will do greatest service to human society. Because the human society is producing children like cats and dogs, the whole human society is in trouble. How can you expect peace and prosperity in the society of cats and dogs? Therefore, there is necessity. There is necessity to produce children of Krishna consciousness, to train them from the very beginning. So that's Prabhupada's view on the purpose of marriage. I like this part about the producing Krishna conscious children, because the materialists are producing children like cats and dogs. They don't want peace. They only want problems. Always. Yes.
Vibrant peace.
Yes. It's very dire situation. Prabhupada also emphasized that there should be no divorce. But there may be fight in marriage. So he quotes Chanika Pandit that it should not be taken seriously. So he gives 3 examples. It should not be taken seriously.
Can you do that too?
I'll tell you how. So according to Chanakapani, he gives 3 examples. The first example is that just like when 2 goats are fighting. So in the villages, 2 goats, they're fighting and they line up and they're like, you know, and then they back up again. You may have seen it, I don't know. Yeah, they back up again. Then they're like this. But then when some man goes like that, they forget everything. They stop fighting. Like this. So it shouldn't be taken seriously. The second example is the Shraddha ceremony of the Muni. So Muni is, so the purpose, like when a father has a son, so he's spending lots of money for the son's wedding, you know, to bring him up, and eventually gets married, spends lots of money. And then the son's duty to the father is that to spend lots of money for the Shraddha ceremony when he passes away, the funeral rites. But if the son becomes a Muni, a sage in the forest, what wealth does he have? You know, what is he going to do for the Shraddha ceremony? Get some fruits and flowers, and that's it. You can't take it so seriously. It's not a big deal. And the third example is just like a cloud who produced a thunder sound in the morning. When that happens, there's no rain is going to come. That's the analogy. So in the same way, when husband and wife fight, one should not take it seriously. But in modern times, it's taken quite seriously, and then they want to divorce and separate.
Can that be applied to father and son?
Sorry?
Father and son, sibling, can that be applied to any disagreement, like father and son, mother and daughter?
Usually, Prabhupada said, even a blind uncle is good. So usually the uncle's job is to come involved. If the kids have a disagreement with the parents, like that, or you know, if there's like, so that's the uncle's job. Even a blind uncle is good. Because they're like objective. They're not, they well wishers of both, but they're not gonna take sides. That's what I've read. Have you read something else about the uncle or father and children? So the modern approach to marriage is explained in the 12th canto, chapter 2, verse 5. Anindya te vasadutve sadatve damba eva tu svikara eva chodva he snanam eva prasadanam. A person will be judged unholy if he does not have any money, and hypocrisy will be accepted as virtue. Marriage will be arranged simply by verbal agreement, and a person will think that he's fit to appear in public if he has merely taken a bath. Some don't even take a bath. So this verbal agreement, I like you, you like me, let's get together. That's considered marriage. And in modern society, they don't see marriage as something sacred, you know, just a piece of paper, and they stay together as partners. Sometimes they don't even marry. They don't even do the ceremony. They just live together, have kids, and, you know, it's probably inevitable that divorce and separation take place. So if you don't do all the legality of it all, then you can peacefully, so-called peacefully separate. This is Kali Yuga. And this is, they make sex the goal of family life. Once the effect of sex desire or the sexual satisfaction diminishes, then there needs to be separation. Because for the Grihamedi, is referring to the, sometimes they crush grains, and they use a pole, and the bull walks around, and by his walking he crushes the grains. So the thing in the middle is called a meda. So this Grihamedi, materialistic householder, his life or his focus revolves around the genitals of the wife. This is Grihamedi. And these rascals, they will argue, sex is natural. What's your problem? Why are you restricting yourself? What, once a month or just for children? No, it's natural. You show love. But no, if sex is natural, so is childbirth. Or a child being raised by both its father and mother. This is also natural. Psychologists are saying that there's a great effect on children that are not raised by both mother and father. Obviously there's exceptions, but in general, it's a better situation. And if they say that sex is natural, these contraceptives like the pill or the other forms of contraceptives, they're not natural. The purport to that verse says they don't grow on trees. Hidananda Maharaj is very creative. So marriage is this ceremony of marriage is very important because everyone is affected by sex desire. And so if it's done scientifically, under scripture and blessings from the Lord, devotees and superiors, that act of sex and marriage can represent Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita, Balam Balavatam Chaham Kamaroga Vivajitam Dhamma Virido Bhuteshu Kamasmi Bhartarashava. Krishna says, I am the strength of the strong, devoid of passion and desire. I am sex life which is not contrary to religious principles, the Lord of the Bharatas. So Krishna is that sex life that's under religious principles. That's scientifically done, not through passion, not through emotion, just according to his means for the benefit of society. Most people come together for their own selfish desires. It's just you and me, that's it, and we're going to be happy together. There's another verse, I can't remember what it was, but a man and woman come together for the purpose of experiencing unlimited happiness, but they get the opposite result. So the Bhagavatam is really warning us to understand our main enemy in the form of lust. Not to take it, not to play with it. So Kardama Muni also in that move, he didn't want to deviate from the service of the Lord. He didn't want to be overcome by this lust. Akama savakama mukshakama daradi tivrena bhakti yugana purusham paramam vijeta purusham param. The person who has broad intelligence, whether it be full of material desire, without material desire, or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the supreme whole personality of God. This Tivrena Bhakti. So Tivrena is like this sunbeam. We've got sunbeams coming in. It just keeps going straight. It doesn't waver. It's just straight. We're going now. So even one is affected by material desires, or has no desire, or desires to merge, by executing bhakti yoga with great determination, he'll get everything that's needed. All desires will be fulfilled. Because the Lord, he fulfills all desire, at the same time you get purified, so you can come to him. In the Madhya Lila, there's this verse, Ami Vigya Emuke Vishya Kenadiba Sa Chanamrita Diya Visya Bulaiba. Since this is Krishna speaking, since I am very intelligent, why should I give this fool material prosperity? Instead, I shall induce him to take the nectar of the shelter of my lotus feet and make him forget illusory material enjoyment. So the Lord, when one prays to the Lord for some material possession in exchange for devotional service, the Lord's not foolish like the devotee. He shows him special favor by taking away material possessions that can happen, or giving him the intelligence and be satisfied with the service that he's rendering. And that can definitely happen. The higher taste. Visya vinivitante nirhasya dena rasa rajam rasa priyasya padam disranivatate. That the yogi, he may be trying to control the senses, but that taste for sense enjoyment still remains. But by experiencing a higher taste, he gives up the lower taste, he's fixed in his consciousness. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he comments on this verse, he says that just like a foolish child requests his mother to give him poison, the mother being intelligent will certainly not give him poison, even though he requests it. A materialist doesn't know that to accept the material possessions means to accept poison, or the repetition of birth and death. An intelligent person, a Brahmana, aspires for liberation from material bondage. That is the real self-interest of a human being. So we cannot deny that we have material desire. It will be there. Having a material body, it means we had that. So the greatest example of executing bhakti yoga and while having material desire is Dhruva Maharaj. He desired a kingdom not just bigger than his father, but bigger than his grandfather, bigger than the whole universe. It doesn't get more ambitious than that, I think. I like the Bhagavatam. It shows like the most extreme situations for every psychological problem you could go through. And then the devotees show how to get through it by taking shelter of the Lord. Or just like being connected, or having the mercy of a pure devotee. So then, he gets offended by his step. I'll tell the whole story because it's nice. King Uttanapad, being the king, he has his son, one of his stepsons, his son's Uttama, sitting there, and Dhruva, another son, 5-year-old boy, wants to also sit on the lap of the father. But the favorite queen, Suruchi, says, no, you can't sit there. Unless you've taken birth from my womb, you can sit there. So he pretty much told him, you have to die and take birth again. And Dhruva Maharaj, he was so angry about this. Kshatriya blood, it's burning. So he goes to his mother, Suniti, and says, I want the kingdom, not just bigger than my father, bigger than my grandfather. How can I get it? My stepmother said I should get the mercy of the Lord. So where is he? Oh, the sages look for him in the forest. Just walk straight out the door, 5-year-old boy, into the forest. And Narada Muni, he is a very good preacher. Usually, as preachers, like last night, there was this boy, he actually admitted, yeah, I'm broken, so stressed out. You're asking why have you come. But, most people, when they say that to you, should be concerned, but Prabhu, I saw you had a big smile. Why is he smiling? Because he's ready. He's ready for spiritual knowledge. He's frustrated with the material world. He's tried so hard. And now is a window before he may try again. So that's picking up now. It's in the right place, right time. We're going to give him the mercy. We're going to wake him up. So Narada Muni, he's expert. He knows this technique of the devotees. Find them when they're really frustrated with material life, and then we'll, inject Krishna consciousness. So he saw Dhruva Maharaj in the forest. He said, hey, small boy, what are you doing in the forest? You should go home, play. And she's like, no, I want to find Vishnu. You know where he is? And he says, why you want to find Vishnu? I want a kingdom. That's petty, go home. He said, no, I want to find him. He says, okay, I'll tell you how. And then he surrendered to his instruction and performed Astanga Yoga for 6 months. And I can't remember the breakdown. It was like it was like 1 month, every 3 days he would drink water or eat berries or something. And then the next month, every 6 days, he would drink water. And the next month,
eating dry leaves.
He would breathe once a month, every 9 days. And then I think it was the final month was just breathing once every 12 days or something like that. Extreme. It's nearly once a month. Just breathe once. That's it. That's all you get for 1 month.
Then he stopped.
Then he stopped altogether. And by his austerity, he was also given the mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And he was also doing deity worship. He built out of earth a deity of the Lord. And he did this Astanga yoga process. And his austerities were so powerful that he stopped the breathing of the whole universe. Everyone was
He performed in Vrindavan.
in Madhuvan, right? Yes, there's also a mercy there. Juvatila is there. You can go up to Madhuvan. It's a nice place.
So nice.
Yeah. And nearby there's Krishna Kund, very nice. That Krishna put his flute in there. And then they made a kund for all the cowboys. It says that from all yugas, the Lord appeared in Madhuvan. So when he came in the Vishnu form in front of Dhruva, in Treta Yuga, Suchugna, he killed one demon there, and there's one temple dedicated to him there in Madhuvan. In Dwapara Yuga, he came as Krishna. There's also a beautiful deity of Balaram, black color, and he has brevity and who's the other one? I forget. He's black color because he's so absorbed in Krishna as he's chanting Krishna's name, he can turn black. Varuni, that's it. You say Varuni and Revati by his side.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's his wife.
And then in Kali Yuga came as Lord Chaitanya. There's like a feet at Krishna Kund. Lord Chaitanya's feet is there in Madhuvan. So in the same Madhuvan, Dhruva Maharaj performed this austerity and pretty much stopped the breathing of the whole universe. All the demigods freaking out. They went to go to Lord Brahma. We can't breathe. What's going on? They go, Brahma, go, let me check head office. And he went to the Lord. And the Lord said, yes, my devotee is performing great austerities for my pleasure. I will go see him. And in his meditation, Dhruva Maharaj, he held the Lord's form within his heart. And when the Lord came, Krishnagarbha Vishnu, he came down, his meditation broke. And as he opened his eyes, direct darshan of the Supreme Personality, his object of worship was right in front of him. And the famous verse, he says, I thought I desired diamonds when in this kingdom. But well, now after seeing you, I just see they're just broken pieces of glass. So one may be so ambitious to want to be the ruler of the whole universe, or even bigger than the universe. Even try and be God. The Mayavadis want to be God. But the devotee is more ambitious. He wants to control God. That's the magic of bhakti. That it controls Krishna. That's why he doesn't give it so easily. Liberation, fine. Material opulence, fine. Bhakti, he'll hide it. But the devotee is more merciful than the Lord. He's giving the opportunity to so many who aren't even qualified the opportunity to engage in devotional service. The opportunity to become a servant of the Lord. That's the most ambitious position in the universe, to become a servant of the Lord. Nadanam najanam nasundarim kavatam va jagadishikamya mama jamani jamanishwar bhavata bhakti aituki tvaya. I don't want money, I don't want beautiful women, I don't want any number of followers, I don't want to be known as a great orator. I just want your devotional service birth after birth. This is the greatest benediction. Even God himself wants to taste what it's like to do devotional service. He comes as Lord Chaitanya. He's jealous. I'm supreme enjoyer. Why is my devotee enjoying more than me? Srimati Radharani is enjoying millions of times, but then when she pushes a gopi that will give me, she understands will give me great pleasure, she enjoys 10 million times. So this is the nature of the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya. that we engage in the nectar of devotional service, but then when we engage others, we enjoy more. That doesn't happen in relationships in this world. You know, if you get your nice, beautiful girlfriend, wife, whatever, you don't want to share. Doesn't make you happy, no. But this great person, Krishna, so beautiful, so amazing, you know, and you can have him, but then it becomes more enjoyable when you see others serve him and give him pleasure. This is, His Holiness Kardama Muni says that when we first come to Krishna consciousness, we have this nectar cup. It's like a thimble, very small. And you use it to catch nectar, and you're like, wow, you know, amazing nectar. And you keep coming to the temple, have prasadam, or devotees, wow, this is so good, wow, you know. You get this thrill, you know. And then he said, when you use your nectar cup to catch nectar and give to others, your cup grows. So then you catch more nectar, drink it, catch it, give it, grows. Catch more, drink it, give it, grows more. Eventually you should be drowning in nectar. Anandam Buddhi Bhada. The ever-increasing ocean of bliss. This is the Sankirtan movement that we're a part of. And it's so easy and sublime. Not everyone can come to the temple, take darshan of Shishi Radharadhana or Shishi Nitai Mayapur Chandra. But when the devotees carry the holy name, the most worshipful object, Hare is Srimati Radharani, Krishna is Krishna. They have darshan of the Lord through the ears. They get that opportunity to awaken the original love of God. Nityasira Krishna Prema Sabakodanoi Shravanali Sudachita Kodiyodai. That love of God is already in the heart, it's not from an outside source, but by Shravanali, by hearing and other activities like chanting, it starts to arise within the heart. So this is the primary purpose, to develop our relationship with Krishna. But when we're in this material world, we're going to try and direct also those activities like raising a family, like traveling, like getting money. You know, these things that Lord Chaitanya said he didn't want. He didn't want followers, money, beautiful women, to be known as great speaker. But if you use them all for Krishna, then one is not affected. I'm going to stop. Thank you for listening. Maybe share some comments around the room.
I'd say that this Nadanamna Janam prayer, for many years, it's always been a bit of an entertaining one when we do the translation. Looking within, saying it versus looking at your friends in the temple. Like, I don't want. It's, you know, I always just ask myself, really?
Really?
And then, you know, because you deal with people and you get to know their desires. And so when you don't want any money and it was not beautiful women, you just think like, really, Prabhu? Yeah, but then it also, to be reminded that is Lord Chaitanya's prayer. And so he is revealing his heart and he is worshipable in his words and in his realizations. But because we're repeating it, you know, you tend to feel like it's directly yours. Or you want to be heard, you know, in the temple with both men and women. And beautiful women, you know. So some brahmacharis, you know, in trying to be Parker, their volume would go up there. Don't is there any beautiful women? And then, you know, life later it's like, oh, so fun. Krishna consciousness. Yeah. But the emphasis is what does he really want? So that is really the great lesson of that. Because the details of things that this one wants, that one doesn't want may vary. But if that desiring devotional service doesn't really grow for us, then it's, you can have, you may not have, but you material things, if there's no desire for service, then you really don't have anything. Yeah, I also think like if I can just be kept with the devotees, that's my desire.
Yeah.
I have they'll somehow engage me.
Yeah, His Holiness Lokanath Swami, he said that, this Radhika Raman Prabhu, he helped Lok Maharaj develop this Sanskrit book. So then he asked kind of like a benediction, okay, you know so much, what's the one advice you can give me? And Maharaj said that just like a Kumbh Mela, there's millions of people. And there's a particular time when you bathe, when the nectar from heaven comes. That's like the time you bathe at Kumbh Mela. And he said that if you're in, like the Ganga is really cold at that time, and if you're in amongst the crowd, like in the middle of the crowd, and everyone goes to bathe, say you change your mind, it's too late. The crowd will pick you up and put you in the Ganga. So he says, similarly, if you stay tightly packed up in the association of devotees, even if you don't want to go back to Godhead, the devotees will pick you up, put you back to Godhead. Yeah. So I like that. That's nice advice. Abhimanyu Prabhu.
Yes, so Dhruva, I also read that very nice Dhruva Maharaj. But so Dhruva Maharaj, he was 5 and then he, only for 6 months, like Kardama Muni, for over and other sages like thousands of years, and they don't even get to, still practicing on tapasya, and the Lord came so quickly. Not quickly, I mean, Dhruva's prayers were really, the Lord really felt his energy. Malcolm was so good. Okay, it's part of the story. So this, he must have good Shakti because it happened so quick. Others practiced for thousands and thousands of years. And he got his own planet, Dhruva Loka, and even it says in the Dhruva 6, even when all the destruction happens, only Dhruva planet will stay. It will still be there, it will never get destructed. I was like, yo, that's amazing.
That's amazing thing about the pastime, because the Lord fulfilled his desire in a most amazing way to get a planet that is better than Lord Brahma's. And then even while he was ruling, he said, I'll protect your devotion as well. And he always remained that pure devotee. Despite all. Yes, Chaitanya.
Krishna, thank you so much. I'm just thinking about how merciful the Lord is. Although we might be having like thousands unlimited material desires, but He's still fulfilling our desire. And yet, like normally, devotee, like most of people, we come to Krishna consciousness. Like we want quick result. Quick result. I had got this realization when I was in Rome. I was like, look here, this is Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is instructing Arjuna, and then at the end, he asks Arjuna, what do you want to do? But if we can just at least give Krishna some time, practice devotional service, and then give him some time to listen at least to him, to his instruction and devote his instruction. And then at the end of the day, no matter how, because we had that desire in the very first place, he will fulfill our desires. But the point is that devotees sometimes like just want a quick result, and if it doesn't get satisfying, just leave.
Yeah, sure.
Leave.
Yeah, Prabhupada said, don't be surprised who comes, but be surprised who stays. That's a good quote. In regards to what you said as well, having desires, that's not our main problem. So Krishna says, Savadam praditeja mamikam sharanam praja hamtam savapapyivo mokshami masuchaha. So these desires are there due to previous activity, which shape the desires in this life. Acharyas have mentioned about Dhruva Maharaj in his past life was a Brahmana and desirous of the wealth of the prince he was like advising or something like that. Something along those lines. He wanted great opulence in his past life. So that's why in the next life when he was denied, you could say, it really, what are you talking about? The anger really grew. So yes, karma can affect the type of desire you have. So then in this verse, Krishna is saying that I'll take care of all your reactions if you surrender to me, don't fear. So if you have desire, that's okay. You can get the desire, put it in the box somewhere and just do devotional service. You can go back to the box later. So you do so much service, so much service, so much service. You go back to the box, hey, who took my desires? Krishna took care of it. Mokshami masuchaha, that he'll take care. Savapapyavel mokshami masucha. You'll be liberated from all those sinful reactions. He takes it away automatically. You don't have to try it. You don't have to psychoanalysis yourself and be like, oh, this greed is there, I'm going to get it. That's not required. Just to continue taking shelter of devotional service is enough. Especially chanting, more chanting, especially Harinam. I experienced that. I'm still envious, but I remember being like I would get jealous like really easily, or envious of people, really like, and I wouldn't express it, very passive, be like, this guy, thinks he's so good, why him, why? Always, like I remember, and I thought I could never get rid of it, because I was like a whole life like this. And then I was in the temple 4 years, and still I was like trying to psychoanalysis myself, but I loved Harinam, but could only do it twice a week, and then I started traveling and joined Harinam Ruchi, and after 1 year with them, doing Harinam every day, it's like a situation where I'd get totally jealous and envious. It didn't happen. And I'm like shocked. I go, wait, where's that feeling gone? What happened to it? I want it back because I'm so used to it, I was attached. I was supposed to get rid of it, not someone else, I was supposed to conquer this challenge. But no, Krishna, he took it away. So that's devotional service is that powerful, especially like increased chanting is that powerful. Yeah. Also the Bhagavatam, Ananta Vashamam Shakshat Bhakti Yoma Doksaje Lokasya Chanato Vidram Sattva Sattvita Samatam Chakri Sattvita Samatam. Yes, the material miseries of the living entity are superfluous. He doesn't know what he's covered by and how it's covering him. But by the direct process of Bhakti Yoga, delineated in the Bhagavatam, one can be set free from it by Vyasa. Written by Vyasadeva, can set you free.
Actually,
Okay.
I was thinking that sloka just ties in nicely with that we are sometimes envious of the general public, in that they are just almost blindly just doing what they want, seemingly enjoying. And then we call them all sorts of names, fallen, degraded, this, Kamis, da. But there it's saying that the general mass of people, they just don't know. They don't know that all these things are just besides the point. It's like, it's all superficial stuff. So Vyasa has compiled this literature to help them, with the linking process of bhakti. So that's us having to try and inform the people because they don't know better actually. Like we didn't know better at some point.
You're kind of upset. Why didn't someone tell me earlier?
Yeah.
Why couldn't I start earlier?
I do cry sometimes. Like when I was in Congo, when I went back home, I was shocked. Like the temple been there since 2006. I was like, wait a minute, I was here in Congo. Took me all the way to South Africa. 2006, this temple been here. Like, what they are doing? Sometimes I also regret, like, why I wasn't there when Prabhupada was there. When I was back there when Srila Mahaprabhu was there, where was I?
Maybe you related. But somewhere. Yes, so.
Oh yes, just got watching a YouTube video of your Gurudev, he's only us the number of times, your Gurudev, and then he was giving a class, right?
Yeah.
And then his head was on the Bhagavatam, and then on the side of the camera, and someone was trying to, turn the page, push his head, put his head off it, man, or something like that. But actually, it was at one temple, and he was like holding it, but then someone was trying to turn the page for him or do something. I don't remember exactly. Move his hand away or something, but not intentionally. And then he said, it's an honor, not an honor, according to the exact words he said, it's just wonderful or an honor just to place your hand and touch the Bhagavatam. And it's so precious, and he gave some, just one line, the reason why. It was amazing. We forget these small things. Just to even hold it or even be in the presence of it, it's amazing. Before you even read it.
Kantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Pramanande.